Hey everyone, it's Nick McCarville, and we're hanging out at the Bank of America Winter Village in Bryant Park, and I'm with the one and only Johnny Weir. Johnny, happy holidays.
Happy holidays! Happy holidays, everybody.
Okay, Johnny, the holidays are all about family, and I know you have a very supportive family when it came to your skating. What was the biggest sacrifice they had to make for you and your skating?
Figure skating, it's all encompassing when it comes to family, and the whole family has to live through it with you, and they're all in that Olympic journey with you. So it was really hard, and we had to move away from where we're from, and it's just, the list goes on and on of sacrifices they made for me, and I think they're happy with their choices, and I couldn't have asked for two better parents that actually would give up their lives so that their kid could succeed at something.
So what about biggest sacrifice? Because I know it's expensive, right? And if you grew up in rural Canada, were there like long car rides, or what was happening?
It's funny you should mention, we used to live in a tent for 8 weeks of the year.
Sorry, he just said live in a tent for 8 weeks of the year.
We camped, we would drive down south
For your skating?
for skating. We didn't have a summer skating school up north, so we would drive 7 or 8 hours and tent in a campsite and go to the rink every morning at 5 in the morning until about 8 at night, and then go back to our tent and go to bed.
That is amazing, by the way, Mr. and Mrs. Buttle.
So many sacrifices. I think a lot of people see skaters and they think that we're the only ones who are making those sacrifices, and really it's coming from everyone. So I have this huge family. I mean, they give up all their time and just kind of allowing like my mom to travel with me all the time. Like, she wasn't home all the time for my brothers, so that was, that's a pretty big deal for my brothers who are teenagers as well.
We could not have been more fortunate in getting the families that we did, and sort of like each other's families also at the same time. Our skating and our lives just required so much sacrifice from our whole families, and support and just extra love. And, they were more than up to the challenge, and, I think in that way they shaped our ability to be confident skaters and good people, and so it's as much success we've had on the ice, we owe it all, and off the ice we owe it all and more to our families.
Could they watch you skate? Were they too nervous, anxious? Could they be in the rink while you performed?
My brothers were fine, but my parents were not. They couldn't sit together, so my dad always sat like way up high, and he would sit there with his sweatshirt like pulled up over his nose, and my mom would just like walk the concourse and kind of watch from the TVs or listen to the crowd.
Well, my mother, I think, would chain smoke before I started, and then she'd sit through it, and she would actually bruise her arms because she would clutch herself so hard, but she would watch. She wasn't one of the moms that would go into the hallway of the arena and flush toilets so they couldn't hear the crowd reaction or something. She watched, but it was to her own peril. She hurt herself.
Yeah, it's interesting. You hear about a lot of skaters whose parents have to like plug their ears when they're skating, or run into the bathroom because they don't want to watch. But I think all of our parents watched us.
My dad very rarely could like watch us skate live. Yeah, and like at the Olympics, he was at home, and he could not be in the room. I mean, so he had to wait until it was like over, the real thing was over, and then once he knew everything was okay, he could watch.
How did your parents cope with it?
I mean, they were terrified, but they watched. Yeah, my parents were always really nervous, and I think they concealed it because they didn't want to make me more nervous.
And could they actually, were the nerves okay? Could they watch you in person?
My dad is not now, but was a smoker, so he did a lot of that at competitions, and my mom handled it very well. I think she just sort of laughed it off whenever I fell, like not in a mean way, but was sort of just, that's life. But they were always very supportive after, no matter what happened. They were always like, had some great positive thing to say that made everything okay.
Right. Lastly, what makes the perfect parent, skating parent, or family member?
Oh my gosh, that's a great question. Probably just being there for your skater and just supporting them. I think just in general for parents, just being there and kind of supporting what they want without really stepping in the way of it and being overbearing. Like my parents were really great at like, Kimmie, like this is your decision and we just support you in whatever you want to do, be it skating, not skating, or like whatever it is. And that meant everything to me because I never felt pressured to skate just because my parents wanted me to skate. I did it because I loved it, and they loved watching me love it.
More than anything, they're nourishing their child's love for that particular sport, and my parents really did everything that they could. They sacrificed so much just so that I could be happy, so that I could do what I loved, and they never really, obviously they wanted me to work hard, but they never expected, for me to be an Olympic champion. No, all they really wanted was for me to do my best, and I think that's really all I could have hoped for from my perspective.
Hey, IceNetWork fans, I'm Meryl Davis,
I'm Charlie White.
and we want to wish you guys
Very happy holidays.
Happy holidays to you and your family, and thanks to the Buttle family for being so supportive of Jeff.
Seriously, thank you.